And we are here to have a little talk between Paul Henriksen, President NEP Europe, and Mr. Peter Jacobson, our Business Development Director from Broadcast Solutions. And I think, yeah, it's quite interesting because NEP Europe, being part of the international network NEP, overwent a couple of changes. And I want to invite you, please come out of the tent and join us for a discussion between and on the developments of the OBs at NEP Europe. Thank you very much. Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, Paul, as President of NEP Broadcast Europe, this is the role we see you, and you oversee the overall strategy of NEP in Europe. But I would like to go back to where it all started, and I know it started in Norway some 30-35 years ago. We are still young, but I think you have a little bit of a story to tell, so can you tell us about the background and how it all started?
I can do that, Peter, but first of all I will thank you so much for inviting me to this sauna. It's fantastic to be here, the climate is perfect, a great event. Yeah, the operation of NEP in Europe actually started with me and a friend starting up with some horse racing activity, doing TV productions in Norway. First as a single camera production and some edits, and later on with smaller OB vans, and we had to invest into SNG trucks, and that's the early beginning. And then we moved into Sweden and Denmark, and after that it's been a lot of acquisitions, mergers, and what's today it's NEP Europe.
Well, your previous owner was a company called Stena Line, which is a family-owned company from a totally different business, a shipping company primarily. And now you have been under the NEP flag for a while. I'm curious to know, is there a difference? What are the differences? And what is potentially the advantages?
It's correct. It was the private investment company of the Stena family who invested into our operations in 2007. The goal behind that investment was to try and see if we could merge a company called Masteknik and a company called Primetech, both of them into more event side, together with the Worldcast company, and establish a huge media company, first of all in the Nordics, but also in the rest of Europe. That started off well in 2007. We did a huge investment into HD for the Olympics in Beijing, beginning of 2008. And then we got the financial crisis, and all the pockets was suddenly empty, and I don't think we had a huge benefit of them as an owner, rather than going to the library every month and showing the history, which is the result sheet for last month. So with NEP now as a new investor, a new owner of 100% of our operation, we have a professional owner in our own business, with huge access to capital, meaning that we can invest in both organic growth and also in acquisitions. So for me, there is a 180 degree in how we operate and work.
What started then with the acquisition of MediaTek? And these acquisitions, they have been going on in a rapid scale. I know only last year it was 4 acquisitions.
That's correct.
And which are the main of those acquisitions? Which are the main acquisitions that has taken place?
The main acquisition we did last year was that we purchased a studio facility company in Stockholm called Stockholm Studios. And then we acquired a smaller outside broadcast company in Denmark called Vivilux, and renamed it to NEP Denmark. And mid last year we got the opportunity to purchase our largest competitor in Norway, which was a company owned by the second largest broadcaster in Norway called OBP.
Do you think you have settled down? Is it not enough? Rest a little bit and enjoy life, or will you go on in the same pace?
We always look into new opportunities, but there is nothing concrete in the pipeline at the moment. I'm gonna spend the summer off, I think.
We have another talk about that in some months and see what you have done. What are the benefits you have achieved within NEP Europe by doing these acquisitions?
No, but a lot of the things that we are working with OB vans is utilization, and the larger our operation gets in Europe, the easier it is to utilize the equipment. And I think most of us gathered here know about the price pressure and how difficult it is to have a margin. And what we see is that the larger footprint we get, the easier it is to move the equipment around and utilize it at the maximum.
Now, let's go back to the topic, which is actually about innovations in the OB market. So let me ask you, what does the word innovation mean for you? Is it just a technology buzzword, or can we actually apply that on the way we conduct business on both sides?
But for all of us here who either sell something or rent out something, it's important with innovation so that we can get to the next step, do new investments, hopefully move the whole market forward. So for us, innovation is going to new standards, new type of equipment, new ways of doing productions, maybe even more efficient. Yeah.
I think the way you can say that a successful business is innovative by itself. We have known each other now for a bit more than 7 years, and technology-wise, if you would ask me, you have gone through 2 major innovations or steps in that period. One was a decision to unify a fleet and go for what we today call the streamline concept. And the second was the decision in 2016, announced at IBC that NEP would go all in on 4K technology. So I would like to look at that first step. That was 2010. I was new at my job here at Broadcast Solutions, and being a Swede, I knocked on the door to Mediatek in Sweden. And I was greeted very nicely. We got a cup of coffee, but the message was, thank you, but no thank you. We do everything ourselves. Which is exactly the way a lot of our clients think today. But there came a surprise. A few months later in September IBC, it became clear that you had a different view from probably the rest of your organization, because we did sign a contract, not for 1 OB, we actually signed it for 10 OBs. Can you tell us a little bit what was behind that idea, not to build everything yourself?
At that time, we had built, I think it was 7 or 8 quite big HD trucks. We operated a huge amount of productions in SD with smaller trucks, and all our contracts were more or less ending in 2011. So we had a huge fleet of SD trucks. We knew that at a certain date, all of them would be parked in our garage, and we needed to upgrade to new technology. And we needed to build a lot of trucks very fast, and I, compared to a lot of my technicians, believed hardly in trying to standardize so that we could easily move the equipment around Europe without moving the technicians. That was the main idea. And taking that further, actually, to the decision we made last year to go all 4K, is actually not to end up in the same situation as we were last time, where all our equipment was in SD and all the demands was in HD. That's why we're building now a lot of 4K ready trucks and buy 4K cameras and lenses. So when the switch is coming, we are ready.
Sure. But taking that kind of decision to partner up with someone and have the vision of streamlining it and unifying, and we're talking about doing that across many countries, and super skilled people that has really sometimes a very valid opinion on things. So I'm sure there must have been some difficulties or obstacles internally and externally. Maybe you can name 1 or 2.
Or I can say that we have a fantastic supplier. No, but this market was very driven by technicians. All of them wanted to develop their perfect drawing, if you can call it that, the OB-van. And we try actually to see it more as a tool capable of doing special type of productions and try to standardize. And yeah, the result has been quite successful if you look back.
So, looking back now, there has been quite a few streamlined trucks delivered. What benefits has that brought you, let's say, to have this somewhat unified fleet of OBs?
Yeah, but it has made us capable of very quickly enter into larger contracts. I think if you see on the other end of the parking lot here, there is 3 chassis standing, which is owned by NEP, and if there is a contract coming up, the chassis is ready built, so we had a lead time which is half a year faster than our competitors. And for me, it's just giving you a phone call saying build another S8 or S12 or whatever, and it doesn't involve a lot of people.
I can nominate Mr. Paul Henriksen to the one CEO in the world who has the absolute shortest procurement process. Because sometimes it actually happens that way, that get a phone call, I need one, S8, S12, is it something specific? Fine, we're good to go. Which is totally the opposite of our reality across the world, where a tender process can take a year or two, and we know that the internal process can have already taken a year or two. This idea from your side, that gave us an idea to develop that a bit more into a concept, not just for you, but we wanted to start to market that internationally. And now, looking in the mirror, a few years later, we have done it actually. We have delivered quite a few streamlines around the world. But of course it has not been easy. We have to try to change the way our clients have been behaving for years. And we have to change procurement process and award criteria and all of that. But there's a fact today. We were checking the numbers, and in total there has been 39 delivered streamlined OBs across the world. So I would say that that proves that you were right in your vision, and it proves that we were right in taking that and developing that further and develop a range of streamlined OBs. I would like to go to that second decision of yours, when I remember some press news at IBC last year, where I think you shocked the world when you announced that you go all in on 4K. What was behind that decision?
A little bit what I talked about earlier is that we were in a very difficult position in 2011, where a lot of the volume was still in SD, but everything changed very quickly to HD. And I would try to avoid to be in that position again. It's quite heavy capex behind this, and it's difficult to get that huge amount of money on the table at the same time. And the fact is that the price difference of going 4K today is not that big, so it's a quite easy decision to make.
And I guess it's the denominating factor. If you have the capabilities, you will easily absorb those customers who comes with it every now and then, and we know that the number of 4K events will just grow. So you are there with the tools right now. So that brings me to what's the status on 4K in the fleet today? How many are there now, and where are they?
But in Europe and England together, we will have 11 4K trucks end of this year, and out of that it's 5 small ones and 6 large trucks. And for us, we feel that we are in a good position now compared to where we were when HD was entering into a high volume production.
So that's real learning by doing that.
Yeah, I think so.
One thing when we talk about 4K, which is one buzzword, and the other, of course, is IP. How do you consider, what is your relation today to IP? And because I know that all these 4K OBs, the one behind us here and the others, they are not IP. What is your idea about IP right now?
I listened to Thomas when he with his discussion inside, and I think I follow that. It's difficult for us to base a truck on SSB switch, and we're definitely not going to do that. So until there are other products available, we will stay more conventional way.
Do you see any direct advantages, let's say if you look at in the future, in the workflow in an OB by using IP? Are there such advantages?
It's probably going to be, but at the moment we can't see that. That's why we're building it the way we do.
Fine. Okay then, OB vans are one thing, but we also need somewhat fixed facilities to handle all this. And we are doing a couple of projects together. One in Switzerland. Can you give us a brief background or description of what's going on in Switzerland?
Yeah, together we are setting up a new playout center for a large client of us in Switzerland, where we're gonna play out 20 channels. Out of these 20 channels, 4 of them gonna be 4K from day one, and we're gonna operate 2 full studio control rooms with studios attached. And all this is gonna be connected together in a network with one of our products called the Media Bank.
Fine. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to wrap this up. And I would also, on behalf of Broadcast Solutions, say a big thank you, personal thank you to you, Paul, and the entire NEP. Thank you for giving us the chance to be what we are today. And it actually deserves to be said that we once signed this contract of 10 OBs, a frame contract which, let's say, we are both into marketing. So I guess no one of us actually believed that it was to be a specific number of 10. But today, together with the one we have here, which is going to be delivered in a week or 2, we have currently delivered 26 Streamline OB trucks to you, Paul. And I actually think that deserves a big round of applause. Thank you very much, Paul.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Are there any questions from the audience? Or if so, probably, do you want to add a question? No. All question answered. Perfect. Thank you very much, and thank you for taking your time. Thank you. Bye.